Yes.
And welcome everyone. Joseph Varghese here, rulesforsuccess.com. I'm here with my friend Fernando Valencia. I've gotten to know Fernando in recent weeks, and we found out we have a lot in common. First of all, Fernando, I love your hair. I'll say
Yeah.
that. We've
Thank
talked
you.
about it before. I miss having lots of hair way back in the days.
You had some cool hair in high school, brother.
I did, yeah. I had a mop top way back, way back in
Nice.
the days. And I'm grateful to be able to connect with leaders of the sort. So Fernando is one of the leaders we engage with each week, kind of sharing their strategies, his strategies on his rules for success. And this is about virtues and values and when the growth moments in life. Fernando is very interesting in terms of he's made a lot of wise decisions in his 20s that's allowed him to really scale up his life. He's part of something called the Unblinded movement. He's a co-founder with Sean Callaghy and several other leaders on board. And I'm just inspired by this movement because it's so in line with what we do in Success Circles. The whole idea of Success Circles of life is a game. And what if you can make today's game better than the last, right? Every day, by being on your edge and growing and advancing and kind of course correcting, kind of the Kaizen approach to things. So that's what we do in Success Circles. I also lead the New York Power team. We're the largest personal development community in New York City. We've also branched out and we've inspired several other power teams as well. So I'm excited about bringing Fernando on board. Fernando has done a lot of work over the years, growth work. He's exceptional at his communication. He's exceptional at what I would say, creating the space for people to like really advance, like really holding the space in rooms. And we'll go into that as well also in terms of his pivots over the years. So Fernando, welcome. How are you, brother?
What's up, man? I am super happy to be here with you and the fine folk of the Rules for Success and Success Circles movement. I love what you've done here. You know, we've met and connected through caring about people, being in the right circles, ecosystem merging at the highest levels. And I'd love to know what you've been up to, what you've done. You have some amazing networks, at your disposal and in your circles. It's just incredible how you hold people accountable and you've created that structure. I feel like we're speaking the same language. We're doing the same things in the world. And I'm really happy to be here.
We are indeed, my friend. Yeah. Ever since I've seen you and your work and also, seeing how you engage with Sean, there's power in conversation. Right? So Fernando is kind of like every day there's a huddle and you go to unblindedhuddle.com and you can connect with Fernando and also Sean on these 8:30 huddles in the morning, 8:30 Eastern. And there's power in conversation as they both engage and share and connect and talk about leadership. It's very powerful being able to kind of jumpstart your day that way, I'd say. But Sean has a unique story too. He's a very established, successful lawyer who's pivoted over the years with this movement called Unblinded, and he's blind himself. He's legally blind himself. And through those conversations with Fernando and Sean have had together, I found myself advancing. And I'm a big believer in the huddle. The whole basis of what we do, Success Circles Accountability, is about the huddle. So really brought me in instantly. And they also talk about coaching, like sports and sports metaphors and, getting on the court and playing fully. And Fernando, like from our conversations, you're fully on the court, right? You're in the game playing actively. And you've made some amazing choices over the years, huge pivots, right? And you've done a lot of growth work. And not only have you done growth work, but you've immersed yourself into key things over the years, whether it be, working with Landmark Education, Tony Robbins, other organizations, putting yourself in there, like advancing your leadership skills, your communication skills. And, of course, from there, impacting thousands, maybe 10,000 people over the years. So tell me, like, how did you get started with this? Is this something that you grew up with, your family-wise? Like, how did you get started, like, on this journey of growth?
Brother, I love that question. Thank you. And, direct answer, and I'd love to share some stories. I believe it has to do with the power of modeling. At a very young age, I learned how to model, and I definitely got a lot from home. My family migrated here from Colombia, or immigrated here from Colombia in 1986. I'm first generation American, born 91 in Jersey City, New Jersey.
Awesome, Jersey
City.
And
Jersey City, baby. I went to NJCU as well, so I'm a proud alumni. And,
awesome.
They gave me a lot of beautiful things. They taught me about family, love, empathy, leadership, extremely beautiful like values and cores that like sprouted me in my lifetime. And I always knew that I was like destined for something. I always knew that I was here to create. I always felt like a deep desire to connect with people. And I wasn't always this guy like that communicates and runs circles and stages, etc. and places you've seen me on. I was really, short, shy, timid. And if you would ask my mom when I was younger, if I would end up doing what I'm doing now, impacting the world and speaking in front of thousands, it'd be like, no way. not Fernando. There's no way that's going to happen. And, I was blessed. I was able to model my brother, my older brother, who, both my older brothers that did exceptionally well, different personalities. I was able to blend what was optimal and like work on areas that we could all grow in together. And they were the first people I modeled. And then I was able to model my fraternity in college. And then I was able to model, a mentor early on in the world of photography, which got me events. And I was able to model a businessman who allowed me to have my first, merger at the age of 22. And I was able to model people like Gerard from Founders in the world transitioning into the digital space. And I was able to model other ecosystems like Landmark and understand human communication, integrity, how to stay in cold space, create things. And then I was blessed to be able to model Tony Robbins and then Sean. And like now we're here. So as I kind of hear your question, I was like in my mind thinking like, how did that all happen? As I really think about it, and I know, it's all about rules for success in 20 minutes and like a tactical piece of information. Is like truly modeling. And the distinction I would give, because a lot of people hear modeling, is the commitment to modeling. I've committed to Sean for 18 months. I've committed. I had options. I have read thousands of books. That's not an exaggeration. 300 physically, 1,000 through audio. I'm very well connected. I chose Sean because I knew it was different. And sometimes people run around trying to consume different things, pick the best out of everything and create something. And I knew that this formula, integrity-based human influence, was complete. And I was either going to spend 20 years doing that and modeling what everyone else was doing, which is picking and choosing and trying to create something, or saying, this is a gentleman who, yes, is a lawyer by trade, successful law company, Carnegie Law, 120 employees, 6 states. I don't even see him as that. I don't even see him as blind. To me, he was an influencer who truly understood the power of how to speak into people's listening. And he had a formula, and it was complete. And I chose to cut 25 years off my curve, not be 50. Sean just turned 50. I'm 28. And through commitment to modeling him and the formula, it's been like insane acceleration.
Amazing, my friend. Amazing. There's power in modeling, there's power in osmosis, being in the company of others who are great, and staying focused too. And you mentioned something great a little while ago too. So in this day and age, it's easy to go all over the place and not get anything done whatsoever. And you're able to engage with someone and be in their company in partnership. I really do believe partnership is the power to growth, like true partnership. And which is what you are. You're a co-founder and Unblinded this movement, which is extraordinary. And I'm sure every step of the way, even before this, your partners also, even with Gerard. I know Gerard Adams very well. I helped him set up Founders early on. And you were also partnership manager in that community as well. Also, your partner, Gerard, in that. And it's extraordinary when you're able to kind of connect with someone that's brilliant and be able to, hear their strategies and support them and help them. And what happens is it forces us to evolve also, because we're in their company, and to being able to play on the same playing field. Imagine life as a sport, right? And you're on the same playing field as these people. In this case, Sean, you're passing the ball back and forth to each other, which is what you do in the huddles each day. And you're learning at an enormous risk, particularly as you're listening, because he has augmented hearing. And so all I mean is that he was already a great listener already, from what I understand. And then, he's raised by beautiful women in his life, his mom and others around his circle. And then when he went blind, he just augmented that superpower, that ability. And you being in that company also augmented your listening skills. So I can hear it every day on the huddle when I'm on it. Fantastic. Fantastic. So what else? So you mentioned like modeling these greats and being in their company and really showing up powerfully. And now you're launching this movement, right? Unblinded. What's the intention of Unblinded? Like, where do you see this growing? I mean, of course I have an idea. I'm immersed in it right now, and I'm a big believer in immersion, which is what you're all about here is also. But where do you see this going, over the next 6-8 months by the end of 2020 vision?
2020 vision, brother. The short term end of 2020, is to continue to give to the members of our movement. Right now, we are like infatuated with the game we're playing of Peoplefication, our 10x10 model. Peoplefication being my life's purpose, integrity-based human influence being Sean's purpose. And that's the beautiful part about a true synergistic ecosystem merger, is because I'm not the integrity-based human influence guy. That's Sean. Yeah. I'm the rewriting humanity peoplefication guy. And here's the best part. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. There's literally no difference. And that's why, my commitment to model was so like profound, because I knew, and this for a lot of people, especially, younger folk, is like, there's like this mentality of not wanting to build other people up. It's all about you building your brand. And in How to Start a Movement, a beautiful, TED Talk, they talk about the second dancer. And I knew I was, wise enough to know that there was a privileged window. Rob Gill is the original second dancer in like Proof the Formula Works. I'm the second dancer in not only can Sean teach it, other people could teach it. Not only can Sean teach it at a high level, I can teach it at a high level. And all I am is proof that anyone else can do it. So I don't consider myself to be, anything more than a human who's created himself through choice. And, yes, I've had help and I've had great support and I've had ups and I've had downs. And I believe all humanity can do that together. And the goal, one, is to, disrupt the fact that it's not possible. And it's like, hey, it's possible. I take it very humbly and with great pride, the fact that I'm blessed to be the voice of the movement, really listening to the people. That's what I care about. I care about their success, their money, their time, their magic, because I know, and I forget where I learned this, is the more I can help people get what they want, the more I can get what I want. And what I want is simple. When I say I want to rewrite humanity, I want to rewrite the way human beings see themselves, see each other, and see their place on the planet. And I mean that in the most inclusive, loving, integrity-filled way. And that's what we're doing at Unblinded. We're creating a platform and a formula where influencers can influence influencers to merge ecosystem to build at least 1 trillion new relationships, if not 10, to make the world an even greater place, AKA rewriting humanity. And the structure's here. It's not just a bunch of beautiful words. It's a leadership, freedom structure with hierarchical primacy based on value, clarity, and it's inclusive. And anyone and everyone could step in, provide, share, and teach, and they can build their place here, and they can achieve what they want in their life with a complete formula. And that's like what we're up to at the Unblinded movement.
Really brilliant. I love the language you all use. And I find every movement has its own language, its own culture, right? And part of the culture you guys have created is based on sports and other metaphors in life, which is absolutely brilliant. I was trained to do joint ventures years ago. And when I hear ecosystem or mergers, I think of joint ventures, but it's more holistically minded, I'd say, in terms of human connection, right? And there's power in human connection. And I can feel that also, in your energy when you aim to help people and teach others. And, like with the launch of this movement, it's about really connecting people together in integrity with an opportunity to kind of amplify each other and so forth, which is what I love. Right. And, so I just want to acknowledge that, and I want to acknowledge also your journey. You mentioned before that, from your parents, Colombian, coming to this country, and having 2 older siblings, and modeling others on this journey. It's been really awesome, right? The choices that were made, and I really do believe Unblind is going to hit and impact, hundreds of thousands of people, especially with the foundation you built. And I've seen quite a few, organizations over the years, including Tony Robbins, Landmark, and other organizations I've been involved with. Having that foundation. I believe that what you're doing now is really brilliant.
Yeah.
It's great, man. Right? What are some values and virtues you stand by? So you mentioned integrity before, you mentioned choice before, and a distinction that I learned years ago. It's changed my life, and I'd love to hear your input in this. Is being cause to matter, right? The idea of taking 100% responsibility for your life, and how when we do that, it shifts things. It gives you total choice in the moment. It's like breaking away from the past, all the challenges that all of us have gone through, especially during this current COVID climate. At least that's what stands for me when I think about responsibility, and also from there, thinking about choice. We always have a choice, in the matter, like any day with choices, thousands of choices, opportunities. There are millions of Zoom events happening every day, and I personally made a choice to get involved with Unblinded because I saw the movement, immersed myself into it. But talk about choice a little more. What got you into recognizing that, responsibility, choice, integrity are values that you adhere by, and are there other values that you personally adhere by in your life?
Yeah, so I love all these questions, and it really, to give direct answers, I was 23 years old. I had just exited my company, the event space here in New Jersey, which the story sounds nice when you say it in 3 minutes. It was actually the darkest time of my life. I had lost my identity. It was dark. What led me to Founders was a deep desire to get out of that darkness. And in 8 months, that was my out. That was my outlet. That was my new beginning. And I really discovered the power of awareness and my ability to do so, at least consciously, when at 23, I was, graduated college, full scholarship academic. I never really read a book that I didn't have to. I was really good at school, straight A student, the whole nine. And I decided to pick up a book. And the first book I picked up was The Secret.
Mm.
And what The Secret did to me, it was like, it gave me language. I was like, wait, that's what I've been doing. And it was utterly mind blowing. I was like, wait, that's what I've been doing. And I said, well, I wonder if like this clicked, what else will click? And when I find heat, when I like feel zone action, which is like what the result of high levels of self-mastery is, that you could step into zone action. I was like, I'm going to read. And I read 57 books that one year, as we mentioned earlier, physically over 300, now 1,000. That was when awareness like became like possible. And then choice and integrity became defined for me. I got language for it through Landmark. When Landmark said that it's not like 100%, 100%, like people in relationships, it's like 50-50, no, 100-100, no, 100-0. When I realized that it was 100% my responsibility for how I showed up in other people's lives, I was like, that's a whole new world for me. I can choose who I am now. I can choose that. I can choose the world. I can cause leadership. I can cause the change of heroic, unique identity. And through 3 years of doing over 300 personal development events, creating that business, speaking on stages, producing events, really being immersed in self-mastery, personal development, I knew I can cause the rewriting of humanity through causing it within myself. And that's when like choice and cause and possibility, all those things started becoming available. And ever since, it's been a choosing. And recently on the huddle, Sean said something that added the next level. Even though we've done 800 huddles consistently, more than those, I always walk in as a student. I'm blessed to be an opportunity to lead, teach, and train. I'm always there as a student. I have my notebook. Open right now. I'm very humble about it. I learn from everyone. Joseph, I've learned from you. And I show up that way. Sean said, it's incredible how like we'll wake up early morning for someone else, like to take someone to an airport. Or like the other day, Sean was like, hey, let's wake up at 5 o'clock and do a module. Even though it was my idea, I forgot to set my alarm. He called me at 5:03. That's how we started our day. That was a choice. Point is, if we're willing to do that for other people, how are we not willing to do it for ourselves? Yes. And that was like a click. I was like a click. I have crazy levels of self-mastery. And I do things that, a lot of people don't see behind the scenes to allow myself to show up this way. And I was re-empowered with language, which was choice. So to consolidate all that, it is, when I say finding language, it's not like I learned how to speak a different one, is that I was able to create with my word something that I felt with my mind and my heart. And then I was able to create it in the world, because that's how creation starts. It starts with word. And when I found my language, I chose it, I committed to it, and I stayed consistent with it. That's what was the catapult, the container for all this to happen. Commitment, consistency.
That's powerful, brother. It really is. The whole nature of what comes out of your mouth. Integrity, right? Just what you say, what you speak into the world becomes existence, and really owning and creating the structures and doing what's needed to really show up. And sometimes it's not easy, like wake up 5 a.m. for Sean, who plays at a high level of integrity in terms of how he shows up. It's very clear based on what he's created. Anyone can Google search his name, going back to his days leading the baseball team at Columbia University, and you'll see all of that. And integrity is such a gift, being able to get that, getting that the words that come out of our mouth, that we honor them at a high level. When that happens, when you have that alignment, which I see with you and Sean and others in your circle, Rob Gill, you mentioned before, also on that leadership team, magic happens, because you're able to meet what comes out of your mouth, the commitments, the promises you put out, with actually building the structures to help people and realize their goals and be trustable too at the same time. I mean, the big thing in the world we do, relationships, is about trust, creating levels and levels of trust. Even ecosystem mergers, only way that can work is, or joint ventures, is having high levels of trust with people. And that really comes down to really honoring your word. Fantastic. I love that other distinction you just shared, from Sean too as well. I'm all about, capturing and learning and magnifying and sharing again, as we share again from others, as we teach others. It integrates even further within ourselves too.
Yeah. And what I'll share on like the beautiful point of integrity, and actually just fun note, because Sean is, athletic captain of the baseball team. That is like not my world. I played soccer until I was a freshman in high school, and it's like as far as my sports career went. And it's funny because we laugh at each other, because there's a real like age gap in like pop culture also, and like sports reference, where I'm like totally lost. He references Star Wars and like all this stuff, and I'm like oblivious to all of it. And it's a really funny dynamic because I'm like, I don't call them old, but it's like really funny. And it's an awesome, opportunity that,
Yes.
both of us in different levels in life, different planes, yet aligned on like legacy and what we're doing in the world can create something so beautiful. And I love that. And I love what Adam brings to the picture. And like for everyone, it sounds pretty. And Sean and I speak about it publicly. I call it, we've had our nuclear winter, where we were like at the brink of not being in each other's lives and thinking we were misaligned and allowing dynamics and things to arise. And that's one of the moments that when we look back made us the strongest. And one of the things that I love is the space and permission that Sean and I have given us. He's my mentor. I'm a protege, yet he allows me to teach him. And that showed me his character. Like, think of this. Think of like all those like people that are on stages. How many of those share and edify someone else at the level that Sean edifies who I am and who Adam is in the world? It's very rare.
Yes.
It's really rare. And that to me was like a key indicator that this guy is different, because his goal is not to be in front of 100,000 people. Our goal is to create 100,000 stages so that everyone in our movement can share their mission in front of thousands, hundreds, and tens. And like the ecosystem merger dance is not always linear. Like we see it and we get each other, and there's a dance for us to like truly merge, truly joint venture, truly partner, whatever the language may be. And it's having a mechanism of how to stay in that conversation. Like Sean and I can confront emotionally, logically, through wisdom, through the right prisms. And that takes a formula. And luckily, like we have it. And it's when you have a mechanism to stay in conversation, create conversation with people, truly, I believe communication language is the foundation to any culture.
Really well said, my friend. Really great. Awesome. And Fernando, your video just froze in her face, so we'll see. Is your sound there? Okay, well, Fernando just got slightly disconnected. He'll be back on board momentarily. I want to say, like, everything he's saying is brilliant. Partnership is really extraordinary. It's an extraordinary path to growth. And you're back, Fernando. Your video is paused for a second there.
Awesome. I'm here.
Okay, cool. Very cool. Awesome. So love it. I love the team that you've built. And as you said, different personalities, making it all work. Life's a game. So when you're able to build the team where different strengths, people come forward, and and all of you are brilliant. You, Jared, Rob Gill, and Sean, the whole team. You all possess unique strengths. One thing you and I talked about in our last call is the nature that you and I are both operationalizers and visionaries too at the same time. We wouldn't have been able to make it on this journey if we didn't have both. And being an operationalizer is someone who's kind of an integrator, who's able to kind of see things and build structures of that sort. And how did you develop? I'm curious. How did you develop that skill for yourself, being an operationalizer? Especially in this framework of Unblinded.
That's a long story. I'm going to take you to the most recent innovation. Michael Smiken, who's partners with Sean Callaghy and Callaghy Law. He's been a student of the formula with Sean, a protege also for 10 years, a decade. Incredible, ridiculous in the world of influence mastery. Confronting in court, winning in Supreme Court, etc. He gave me two beautiful lessons, which were actually my like top 5 for 2019. And it came from Sean's protege, not even Sean directly. It was who and by when, and execution over ideation, execution over creation. Flipping those, and then who and by when were like critical. It's just who and by when. So who is doing it and by when? Simple, who and by when. Every time you're in a management role, you're creating leadership, always who and by when. When you end the meeting, who and by when. Brilliant. So everyone knows who's doing what and by when it's going to be done. And that creates the framework, the sidelines, if we want to talk sports, for the game. Yeah. Who and by when. Who and by when. Who's the quarterback? By when is he throwing the ball? Who's the running back? By when is he hitting the hole? Whatever sport analogy, etc. It's who and by when. And then like the greatest distinction, because I am a visionary, like undercover. I'm a visionary hiding as an implementer. Mm-hmm. And the reason is because as a visionary, you tend to feel less alone, misunderstood, etc. When you implement, like you get to prove, you get to show. So it's like the difference between saying I'm a good basketball player and like dunking on you on the court is the difference. And I enjoy showing up because it's much easier to cast a vision around something that's done versus something that's not done. So I play both. And when Michael Smiken gave me the distinction of I rather do than create, I was in love as an artist I was in love with creation. I want to create. I wanted to have the ideas. I wanted to ideate. I still do. I'm way more interested in like tactical execution of
Yes.
idea.
Yes.
And like, that was a pivot. That was an ego pivot. That was a wisdom pivot. That was a business pivot. That was a lot of things. And to boil it all down, who and by when, just hack. And then the difference between creating and executing, fall in love with the doing, not the creating.
Beautiful. Wow. Really, really extraordinary. And most people lose out on execution, right? The ideas. So one of my mentors, my community success circles, you mentioned when you're in head, you're dead. So overthinking things can lead to analysis paralysis or mental masturbation, right? Versus actually just doing things, execution, working in a team, passing the ball back and forth, taking responsibilities, power and responsibilities, power and saying, I'll do this, I'll take it on, right? And you're basically passing the ball back and forth, right? Someone else is taking responsibility. And eventually you've got these things built, the structure, this movement, building, however it is. You've got the unblindedhuddle.com, you've got the unblindedbusinessaccelerator.com. Both are free, right? Then you've got these other structures, you've got persuasion mastery and other programs built on top of each other. And eventually, because of that, passing the ball back and forth and building the structures that go with and taking responsibility for each of these pieces, you've launched a movement. You've impacted hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people. And I've seen this Tony Robbins. I've been with that organization for 20 years, and I lead the largest Tony Robbins community in New York. He's done that, but it takes being a visionary and then also having the right team of people around you. And you guys are an awesome team, just rocking like a star team, like all-star team. I just want to say that.
Brother, thank you. It wouldn't be the same without your leadership, your wisdom, what you've done, the process mastery and influence mastery you have to continue to show up the way you've done consistently is just an echo and result of your self-mastery. You are present. You are living in the formula. Super grateful, to be here with you. To everyone viewing, thank you for taking the time to like really be here with us. It's truly an honor to continue to contribute. I'm Fernando. We'd love to continue to share with you. Stay with Success Circles. Keep checking out the Rules for Success podcast. We'd love to share. We'd love to co-create. And I'm sure our friend Joseph here will share with you where to find us if that's something that you're interested in.
Thank you all. Thank you, Fernando, for being part of this movement and being on our podcast this week. And we're going to stop the live stream. So everyone catch the replay. The replays at rulesforsuccess.com. There'll be a mind map summary, all the links to Unblinded and Fernando and what this is all about. Join us there at rulesforsuccess.com. Thanks for partaking. It's my son and my daughter upstairs. Nice. You can hear it. Okay. Thank you all. Bless you all. Okay. And we're going to stop the recording here as well also.